Is the IRS going to write my back taxes off through some tax forgiveness program for pennies on the dollar? Now, if you are a business owner with a substantial back tax problem, you probably have seen a million ads basically telling you this. They're telling you that there's some forgiveness program out there. You can hire some company to help you apply for that forgiveness program. And then just all of a sudden, whatever you owe is just going to get slashed and burned off. And you can just walk away scot-free from this situation. So what is the actual truth? The number one philosophy of our company is to give it to people straight and never bullshit them. So therefore, if you're watching this video, I want to be completely direct and honest with you about what is actually going on here. The first thing you have to understand is that the IRS has a duty to enforce the concept of people paying their taxes. If there was just some way for everyone to get their taxes written off, no one would pay their taxes, right? I sure as hell wouldn't. You wouldn't. No one would, right? If there was some magical way that no one paid taxes, then the system would collapse. So what you have to understand is that the odds of you getting some kind of magnanimous relief where this just disappears for free is basically not going to happen. Now, there are certain programs and things you can do if you genuinely are in a very hard up situation. If you're chronically low income, if you're in bad health, if the IRS would look at you and say, there's no way this person could ever possibly repay anything remotely near what they owe, maybe you have an opportunity. But honestly, if you're like most of our customers and you're a business person, you're making some decent money, but you have a huge problem. I mean, obviously, if you're making decent money, they're not going to look at you and just say, hey, everyone else had to pay their taxes, but for you, just don't worry about it. We're going to write all this stuff off as a freebie. So if people are promising you that, you just need to be smart enough to understand there's no such thing as a free lunch. And if you go down that road and you get suckered, it's really just hearing what you want to hear that's gotten you into a problem with those kind of guys. So let's talk about what's actually possible. What's actually possible is if you are in a situation where you genuinely cannot afford to pay the entirety of the taxes you owe, and you're serious about changing your ways to stop accumulating problems again in the future, you are entitled to work with the IRS to resolve the balances you owe in a way that's workable and favorable for you. And what that means is rather than eating instant ramen every day for the rest of your life because you're giving all your money to the IRS or liquidating everything you own, including the shirt off your back, you're entitled to an alternative way to repay what you can on more favorable terms. And that's a strategy and a negotiation that takes place. That's what our company helps people do, is to get into the nitty-gritties and unique aspects of their financial situation so that we can get this resolved for them. And there are times where people wind up paying less or far less ultimately than what they owe. But it's not the same thing as like there's some magical government forgiveness program that basically gets you out of paying taxes, although everyone else had to. It's a much more intense negotiation than that. So that's the reality of your situation. The problem is completely solvable. There is a better alternative than just avoiding it, doing nothing, putting your head in the sand, praying to God it's going to work out by doing that. I've personally represented people who have owed seven figures, multi-seven figures, high multi-seven figures in back taxes. It's not to say that if you owe less than that, we can't help you. I mean, we have a lot of people that have owed six or multi-six figures, but there is a solution to the problem. It just takes a more serious approach, and you need to be real with yourself in order to actually make progress resolving this.